shot. Come on. Yeah!
Needs it.
All right, thank you very much, Craig Elliott, for a perfect transition. And we're ready to go, so to speak. And I guess, Tom, the first question I have is, how different will these lanes play than what we had before?
They're going to play unbelievably different, just for the fact that we're coming from a bowling center that has a high traffic volume of bowlers. So there's a lot of wear on the lanes. Now we're coming to Bill Moore's house, these lanes are absolutely pristine. So there isn't a lot of play, so there's not a track developed. And over at Sterling, we had a Kegel machine using fire oil, which is about 30 mils. And over here, we're using a Brunswick machine with Connect 2.0, which is about 25 mils. So what they bowled on all week is totally different than this. So this is going to be about who can figure out how to open up the lane, try to make themselves a little bump spot, and create a little area down lane.
I believe we're going to have Chris Barnes starting on the left lane. Tom Hess had that choice, and I just happened to be there when Tom pointed. And so I guess we're just waiting. You see John Weber, tournament director. I imagine as soon as John takes the seat. Now you see the old-fashioned scoreboard right there. That's the way it was a long time ago when you went to a bowling center and you sat down and you had to be careful not to burn your hand.
I just was going to say that. Who is going to burn their hand first on that scoreboard?
Well, I think that Bill Moore is the official scorer here. Bill, of course, competed in the event. And we want to say hello to Bud, who's watching on his big TV. Niagara Falls, I believe, right? Was that where he at?
I believe you're correct.
And everybody wishes you were here, of course, Bill. And this event is a tribute to you and to your whole family. And so our very best and our deepest thanks for opening up your home to all of us here at BowlTV. So Wilby Barnes on the left lane.
How would you like to be one of the guys sitting there? It looks like we have a lot of foul line judges sitting right next to
Well, we got a lot of bowlers here. You know, a lot of the guys who did not make it decided to stick around a little bit. And you could hear Chris groan just a touch when he threw that.
Well, that was definitely way inside of target. And they were so used to having a little bit of area through the matches that they had. And this surface being so new, pretty much the only person that bowls on it is Bill. He comes down here and practices, you know. And so there's not really a defined track. So if they miss, it's going to be a big miss.
Well, single pins have not always been Chris's friend this weekend. For some reason, he's had a difficult time with single pin spares, especially 10 pins. He made that look very easy. Now, something that John Weber mentioned, this is a potentially very big night for Tom Hess. He was the runner-up here a year ago, and if he gets this win, he will be Hall of Fame eligible.
Well, he was the last tournament, because he's made 6 tournaments in a row. The last tournament, you could tell that boy wanted it so bad. He was bleeding Hall of Fame, wanting that win so bad. And there's no doubt there's a fire in him tonight to get that title.
Not that there's never not a fire.
There's always a fire in Tommy Hess.
It's possible the temperature raised even a little bit higher with Tom, but he is an intense competitor. Both these guys are. And this is an incredible first match. This would be a worthy final.
All the matches tonight are going to be pretty incredible. We got some players tonight that are just, it's going to be absolutely amazing to watch, I think, because the venue tonight is huge with P. Weber leading.
We got Troy Lint, who could really put a hammerlock on Player of the Year. If he gets a win, that'd give him his second major.
And he's the only lefty in the top 5. So the only person messing with his shot is him when he gets to practice.
Barnes going for his first strike, and through the face, 3-6-10 for Chris.
Now, they had practice before. There's about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, they had an open practice, and they were bowling. And then now they had to redo the lanes. They had to let them sit 15 minutes. Then they had their scheduled practice on the lanes. So things have transitioned. They've already been oiled twice here in just a short period of time. So I honestly believe these matches are going to be so much tougher than bowling on the fresh on A squad the first time you bowl.
And a mistake by Chris. He got a little heavy on that 10-pin behind, so the first open frame of the match. And it's going to go in Tom Hess's favor with Chris in trouble early.
Yeah, it's not obviously like Chris to miss spares. He's a phenomenal player, Hall of Famer. You just don't miss spares. But I mean, this is kind of a unique venue, and unfortunately, right now there might be a little technical difficulty if you can't see it. But with the people sitting down the lanes, it's kind of a narrow facility. The lanes are different. The shot is different. We're talking about a different kind of oil, which seems to be a little bit slicker than what they bowled on.
One thing we saw too much of today, especially back in Sterling, were 7-10s, and Chris has drawn one here.
Well, Dan Knowlton was close to making the show, and he got on that one pair and almost left 4 7-10s in a row. That was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Dan had a terrific tournament. Just fell a little bit short. He ended up, in 6th behind Chris. We'll double check that. But yeah, it was a tough. Dan was in a position. He had a shot at Chris. By the time they got to the position round, no, Chris just basically had to show up. Dan would have needed a minor miracle, but right now Chris is the one in need of a miracle, and Tom Hess is riding a double into the third frame.
Well, Tommy's been bowling so good, and I've said it in the weeks past on the show. He's been posting shots. He's staring it down. His leverage has been good. He's reading the lanes perfectly. It's just a matter if the breaks go his way.
Quiet 10-pin there. And Tom should be very comfortable in this facility. But you're right, the lighting is different. The whole vibe is different.
The whole ambiance of the place is different. It's a great venue, but as I just got a score card brought in front of me. Sorry, folks, about Tommy Hess and shots that he's making.
Yeah, that was last year's event where Tom, Pete, who is number 1 seed this year, was in the opening match last year, and then Tom beat him. Tom beat Michael Hogan Jr., beat Stoney Baker, and Dave Johnson ended up taking Tom right at the end by one pin.
223 to 222.
What did Tom shoot? Let's see. Tom, 268, 245, and then 222. So he should feel right at home here.
Well, if you've already shot roughly 720 in the facility before, this ought to be just like going to league, right?
Tom's making it look like going to league this year. Has the one title. And, the other thing that we've talked a little bit about here, Tom, but I'd love to get your take on it, is that PBA50 Player of the Year race. If Tom wins this, now he's got 2 wins, and he's got a major, and all of these stepladder appearances.
Right. Both him and Troy Lint. I mean, it's like a Rocky Balboa film. They're slugging it out. Each one. I mean, they're in the finals every week, both of them. It's just a matter of who's going to get the breaks and who's going to win. If Tommy wins tonight, we only got a few more tournaments left. We go to the Villages from here.
Yeah.
Then we got down at Lightning Strikes in Fort Myers. Then we go to Orange Bowl, which is the Tournament of Champions in Lakeland, Florida. So there's only 3 stops left.
Yeah, Chris right now unable to find the pocket. He's going through the nose 100% of the time. We have a question from the audience. A gentleman from has a very good question, actually.
Well,
It's tough for the new guys
And Chris has missed for the second time in this game
on
a
the 3-6-10. We're very fortunate. Right across from me is sitting. Well, folks, first you got to come to Bill Moore's house, and then you'll know where we're sitting. We're not even close to the lanes. We are in the gym, and it's a workout facility around the corner, which is beautiful. And Pete Weber is sitting right across from me in some kind of chair. It looks like space-age massage chair. And he brought up a good point. The guys bowling right now actually have an advantage of what the lanes because they're bowling on them right now. So they can follow the transition. And since they're newer lanes, they're going to understand what's happening. These guys are going to come in and only going to get their practice shots and hopefully figure out what is going on that these guys already know what's going on.
And stay physically loose as well. Although there's plenty of things here to stay loose with if you want to get in a quick workout.
Chris Barnes throwing it left-handed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he is just...
No, he's fried a little bit
done.
mentally. He's a little bit fried. Oh, Craig Elliott standing by with Troy Lint. Craig, go ahead.
Hey, guys, we're getting here. Troy Lint's getting ready to take on the winner of this match. Troy, it's an early lead for Tom Hess. The lanes are transitioning pretty quick on the right side. What did you see here in practice on the left side?
A lot tighter, a few hours tighter, and a bigger ball.
Is it going to be similar to what you saw over in Drainsville or here?
It's a lot different here. A lot different. A lot more oil. A lot bigger balls.
Troy, we just talked last week in Morgantown for your second win. You have a chance for win number 3 this week. What's the secret? What are you eating for breakfast every day?
Same old, same old. I'm just trying my best. You know, like I said, I keep telling you, these guys are incredible. You got to be at the top of your game to compete with these guys, day in and day out. It's a lot of fun.
We had a quick change in the match. Tom Hess just Big Four. Let's take it back to the booth. Let these guys take this match home.
Well, I tell you what, though, this Big Four may not weigh as heavily because of the struggles that Chris is having.
Yeah, Chris, unfortunately, is on an open train, and that's not the train you want to be on. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 opens in a row. 51 in the 5th is not actually the score that you want to see for a major title. Troy Lint, when I was out there during practice, and he was kind of a little bit nervous because the lanes were so much tighter and his ball's going so much straighter than it has all week. And, you know, they had 16 games of qualifying, 24 games of match play, and he got to see his ball hook, and all of a sudden now he's throwing the biggest equipment he's got, throwing it down the left side going, what's going on?
Yeah, but there's a new thing we've come up with here we call Troy Lint carry. You just have to touch the head pin,
right,
and the head pin will do all the work for you.
Folks, if you've never seen this guy bowl at 56 years old with the backswing that he has, the rev rate and speed, it's just insane.
It's the backswing that freaks me out. I said today on the air, if you have a fear of heights, Troy's backswing.
Yeah, my shoulder would fall off. And everybody that's ever seen me bowl, they go, I can't get it past my belt loops. He's dead vertical.
Yeah, it's really something. And Chris now he's added a 7-pin to his problem. That's his third time he's left that 3-6-10 combo on this lane.
With the 7, I mean, he is totally. You hate to say the word lost, but that poor boy is lost.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, there's just no chance. I mean, he's just going through the motions now because unfortunately he doesn't have, unless Tom Hess decides to go home right now, there's no chance.
Even then, he's at 105. Chris is going to have to pick it up. I mean, it's just one of those things that happens occasionally. And there's, Kulik has been working with a few of the bowlers, including Chris and Tom, so she's kind of stuck in the middle on this one. But there's nothing she's going to be able to tell him. He might make he at least converted the 3-6-10.
Well, the toughest thing to ever be is lost when you're bowling for a title. You're on the top 5. You're bowling, and obviously you bowled great for 40 games, 16 of qualifying, 24 of match play. You're on the show, and all of a sudden now you don't have a look. Probably the most heartbreakingest thing that you'll ever go through.
And a chance at a major championship. And by the way, if he had captured this event, he'd have 2 majors, and he would be a player that your conversation.
Right, because he's coming off of a win at Jack 60, the world championship there. So, I mean, the guys that we have on the show are obviously top of their game. Bill Rowe being the only guy that is looking for his first PBA50 title.
Boy, has he been good. We'll talk more about Bill later, but you'll enjoy his game. It is compact, yet powerful, and he's not exactly new to the sport. He's not even close to new to the sport. He might be new on this show, but wait till you see this boy throw a ball. Yeah, he's very, very good. Now Tom starting to lose the look that he had.
Well, that's the first time I've ever seen Tom Hess come back and smile after he threw a split.
Yeah, he understands he has this match in hand. Well, I'm not going to say that because you never know. This very strange things have happened. Did Chris suddenly find something?
He could shoot 180.
Yeah, who knows? Be the most miraculous 180 of his life, I bet. But Tom's an excellent shooter at these difficult splits.
Look at that.
That doesn't surprise me one bit. He is so good at the hard ones to pick up.
That was just pure skill right there. People might say that was luck, but you said, he is a phenomenal spare shooter. The 210, if anybody's been watching the shows lately, the last 5 times he's made it, this being the 6th, if he leaves a 210, it's got to be a 95% rate that he's going to pick it up, if not more.
Yeah, it's one of the real strengths of Tom's game is being able to pull a coal out of the fire when you don't think somebody's going to be able to do that. He is excellent at that sort of difficult shot.
And Tommy's playing the lanes, unless that was an errant shot, but he was crossing like 16, 17 right there at the arrows and never got it to the break point, which is roughly 9-10 down lane. That was inside a target.
Now, Chris's max is 180. Mark here, now he's got a sleeper back there. But again, given Tom's spare shooting skill. And does he bring out the spare ball here? Does he have the strike ball?
I believe he's still throwing that Summit, and he's been throwing that all week long, and actually the last couple of tournaments. I think he might have more than one, but it is the same ball. 3, 6, 9, 10, not an easy spare, definitely on this pattern, especially since the oil is a little bit slicker, but covered it with no problem.
Also a lot of pressure for those people who are on the side there because the boulders can see them. So they really have to be still in the bowler's pre-shot routine because any little movement could be a problem.
Yeah, I believe John Weber told him when somebody's on the approach, you guys just need to take a pose and freeze and don't move until the shot's been delivered.
Please make sure your phone is shut off, too.
We've had that issue a couple times.
I bet. Again, every time.
3, 6, 10. I know he's made adjustments. Folks, there's no way that Chris Barnes has not made an adjustment and left that 4 times.
Earlier today, on lanes 21 and 22 in the main house, on the right-hand lane 22, he left 5 10 pins. Struck every time on the left lane, I think, except for once, and left 5 10 pins.
10 pins I understand because the ball's not going through the pins quite right. It might be just going a little bit long coming in behind the head pin. But to leave the 3, 6, 10 that many times, I know he's made adjustments. And the adjustments he's made in his mind, they're going to work. So his ball is reading that spot of the lane way too hard to leave the same thing. Oh, my Lord.
That probably is going to do it.
Yeah, another split. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 splits this game. 2 missed 3, 6, 10s. You can't win a tournament with 6 opens in one game. He's got to be about as disappointed as it gets.
Yeah, you don't even get to the angry part at this point. It's just deflating.
106 in the 9th.
Yep, and so Tom is going to move on to take on Troy Lint. Seems like these two are on TV more than your local newscasters.
Well, yeah, it's been every week with these two guys. Tom is wanting that Hall of Fame status so bad, and rightfully so. He's bowling fantastic. He's earning it. You know, it's not like it's a given. He is earning it.
But he's got to be wondering now too. He got off to that fast start, and then the match goes completely out of hand, and he really hasn't had a great run since then.
Well,
he seems to be a little bit floundering just a touch to try to find the strike shot.
Well, we talked about this as, you know, obviously a fresh surface using Connect 2.0, which is, I think, a slicker oil, and it might be moving a little bit more. And these guys are just not. I mean, the pattern's moving faster than they are.
Okay, that's a great way to put it.
Unfortunately, you only have 10 frames on a TV show, and you got to figure it out quick. And when the lane is obviously moving faster than you are, it's tough to figure out. Either you guessed right, you're in the right part, or at this level, they're not saying, did I do something wrong? It's always about, I'm in the wrong part of the lane, and maybe I'm throwing the wrong equipment with the wrong layout or maybe the wrong surface. But they, you know,
that's a ball change there.
He's and that was a better look. He went to a bigger ball, an asymmetrical ball that probably has some surface on it. It's going to make a move. That right lane looks like it's just the oil's going down the lane. It's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
Well, let's see what Chris does this time. If I were him, I would shoot at 3.610 now.
He almost left a 3.610 again. That would.
I guess there'll be a day.
There is not the odds in the world in Vegas you can bet on this. And Chris is so frustrated right now. He just wants to get off of that lane right now.
Well, they're going to have to re-rack that, and because the Tom's going to finish up. I'm not sure what happened there. Chris needs the
needs
proper
the 610.
setup. Yeah, he needs
the
a 610 to
610
shoot at it, and I'm sure somebody's working on that right this second. I think that's why Tom is going ahead, just in the interest of time. I don't think Chris minds.
Well, there's nothing. Yeah, it's not going to make a difference one way or another.
This isn't going to be all of a sudden, oh gosh, Chris lost because Tom finished ahead of him. It's just not. It's one of those days. Even a Chris Barnes will have a game like that.
I mean, it's all about frustration right now. I mean, they might have just turned off the wrong lane to set the 610.
There was a 50-50 chance of getting that, and didn't get it.
Well, they have a little break in the action right now.
So we'll remind everybody that we're going to bring the BowlTV caravan to Florida, Central Florida, the Villages, a little bit away from the Orlando area, for a big event. 3 squads.
On 36 feet, Del Ballard, no re-oils. So we have 189 players right now. 192 is full field. So we're going to have 3 squads. They're not going to re-oil the lanes on 36 feet.
Oh, my God. Carnage.
Well, I hope the seniors eat their Wheaties because they're going to need some ball speed.
Carnage. Oh, boy.
This could be a little tough.
The circus then moves to the west coast of Florida to Fort Myers.
Right.
And,
lightning strikes.
Yeah, lightning strikes. And then to wrap it up, Johnny Petraglia, BVL, bowling for veterans. That's a very important thing for John and for the Moors, actually, too.
Right.
Very, very important. And that's the Tournament of Champions.
That's at Orange Bowl, John Laspina's place, Lakeland, Florida. And this is the first time we have been there. So the Tournament of Champions, you've had to win a title of some sort, regional or national, and you get to bowl that tournament.
So I think we got Chris's setup for the 610, all good to go.
Tommy throwing his final shot, strikes out for 198. Chris picked up that 610. Thank God the 3 wasn't there.
Yes, incredibly, but he does have one more ball on this, and it would be the most bitter irony, or maybe even slightly dark comedy, if he leaves a 3-6-10 here.
Oh, now he's talking to the other guys, because it's actually comical right now for him. He's going to do something. He's doing it two-handed just to see, like his son, and it wasn't as good as his son.
No.
Ryan is really good at two-handed.
Well,
unfortunately, Chris is not, obviously.
You have not caught up to the latest Barnes family bowler rankings. Linda has always reigned supreme at number 1. Ryan is now number 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Chris is 3.
I think even he knows it.
Oh.
At least that's what I told him.
This is probably going to go down in history. Coming up next, Troy Lint against Tommy Hess. So I'm quite interested. Obviously, these lanes didn't turn out too good. I'm better for Tom. But as a bowler, I guess the lingo that we used, the way they broke them down, could they have possibly trashed the lane in such a way that they've made them harder?
Well, that's a great question. Chris would probably be able to provide an answer for that. I don't know if he's going to talk to Craig, and it's certainly not his responsibility to do so or obligation to do so. That would be an interesting way of looking. That's a great question because there was practice, gosh, an hour ago, more than an hour ago, as sort of a, hey, welcome to the house kind of practice because you need that. And I think Craig is going to talk to Tommy. Okay, gentlemen, you're on.
Yeah, here Tom Hess. Tom, that was an interesting game. There was a pretty high score last year. They changed really fast. What did you see out there?
Well, I don't know if I got tricked or not. I thought that maybe I threw the big 4 a little bit slow. Kelly said, no, it was a good shot. You just need to move. So then I moved, and then it never hooked. And so then, I was still okay there was just bad shots on the left lane. But then the 2-4-8, I thought it was good. Kelly thought it was good. So we're searching on the right lane. You guys saw me make a couple of ball changes there. Moved a little further left with something a little bit stronger, a little more rolly. And I'm going to try to just kind of blend it out a little bit more with a big, strong ASEM ball. I think I'm going to go with the gem. I was throwing the Summit that game. Plan right now is to go with the gem and see what happens. I'm bowling the hottest bowler on the planet right now, and going to need a big game. 190 is probably not going to win this one.
Yeah, Troy's been bowling great. And if I got one tip for you, don't leave the big 4. Just leave a 2-4-10 combo because you make every one of those.
Yeah, I make a lot of those, don't I? How about I don't leave any of those, though? How about we just leave one standing down there every now and then? That'd be all right.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Tom, very much. We really appreciate you taking the time to do that. I guess we're having maybe a mechanical issue, so we'll just take a brief stretch of silence here to allow all of this to breathe a little bit, and we'll as soon as Troy Lint and the lights come back on, Tom and I will return. So hang in there. I don't know, would the word be confused about the lanes?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think the bowlers out there are a little bit confused because the lanes have transitioned drastically, way more than they thought they were going to, and they're a little bit trapped up. Tommy's went to a way bigger ball with more surface to try to create some kind of ball motion because there is absolutely maybe a speed bump, you might want to call it, down lane, and the ball is just not making a turn, especially on that right lane.
And by the way, when Tom was talking to Craig Elliott about Kelly, he means Kelly Kulik. So we're not exactly dealing with somebody who doesn't know what she's talking about. This is somebody, obviously, who's a major champion in her own right and a Hall of Famer. So Kelly understands changing conditions as well as anybody in the room. And she's been working this week and with all the Storm personnel, as you've worked with the Brunswick folks.
Right.
And it's a constant battle at this point. It looks like it's going to be choosing your correct weapon. That's
well, Tommy came in here, Tommy Hess, and thought he made a bad shot, and he said Kelly told him, no, the shot was good. It was the lanes. And so now they're trying to get a step ahead of what the lanes are doing. And, you're fighting an invisible enemy out there, folks. I mean, you can't see the oil. The ball's trying to tell you what's going on. But if you read the ball motion wrong, you just make the wrong judgment call. And then you start trying to fit it. And if you try to fit a shot instead of just let it roll, it's not a good thing.
Troy Lint has the choice on lanes here. And this is another match with Player of the Year implications. Troy will take the left lane, and it appears he wants the ball.
And Troy, which shouldn't be, but he is nervous. He's just he's having to play it straighter than he normally likes to play it.
Right.
And it's kind of taking him out of his comfort zone. I think that if you try to use some big balls to open up the lane on the left side to give him a little bit of bump spot. But he's actually still throwing the ball that he tried to break down the lanes with, which is an archetype. That's a big asymmetrical ball for Brunswick.
I'd like to be that nervous.
To throw it that well?
Yeah, man. Absolute crush. And we're going to get here from our number 2 man in the order here, Bill Rowe, in just after Tom Hess's shot. Bill is standing by with Craig. And after Tom, who buries a strike, let's get Craig Elliott
Just
in
a
here
quick
again.
chat with Bill Rowe before he gets stretched out for this next match. Bill, we're seeing a lot of different lane play here than what we saw over at Bowl America. What are you seeing?
Well, the lanes tonight just, for me, played a little bit tighter. I actually am playing a little bit right of where Tom and Chris were, so I'm not sure if I'm going to see the mess that Chris encountered. I hope not, but I've got 8 practice shots, so I'm just going to go out and we'll see where things go.
So as bowling fans, we know who Bill Rowe is. Our fans out there in the BowlTV community might not know. But tell us a little bit, what's it going to mean for Bill Rowe to bowl on a TV show here for a major tonight?
Well, I've been looking forward to this event for a couple of years for a lot of reasons. A little sentimental watching it with my dad the last couple of years, and I had to withdraw last year for back reasons and that. But I was looking forward to this event. I was determined to make the show, and that's the first step.
If y'all can't tell out there, Bill's got a bit of a Canadian accent. He's looking to take this title north of the border. Good luck to you, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Bill and Craig, thank you so very much. Bill can really roll it. You're going to enjoy watching him.
What a great player. He was a high roller player, and before he turned pro, he made a little over $400,000 at the high roller. So when this boy gets on the show, it's not going to be like he's never bowled before.
No, he's very experienced, very well known north of the border, an international champion as well. So he's got the respect of this field, I promise you. Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm Troy. I've thrown a double. I haven't left a pin on the deck yet.
And he normally doesn't. He's got that, I always called Lenny Borsch has that voodoo roll, and he seems to strike a lot. We got another voodoo roll, and it's on the left side now. Because whether he hits them light, he hits them heavy, he just needs to hit them, and they seem to fall down.
Well, the expression we heard Chuck Ritchie Jr. Came up with the strike, the Troy Lint can opener, and we also have the Lint roller.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that last week. The Lint roller, we wanted to design, we're going to design a jersey, I think. It's just got like a big Lint thing on it because that's what he does.
He got a break on that 10-pin. During the interview, you saw that Tom Hess had a 4-6 and picked up 1. And Troy nearly had a minor disaster there, but was able to get the 10-pin knocked away.
Well, realistically, if Troy just keeps opening up his shot, and if the right lane is a little squirrely for the right-handers, he could literally write his own ticket here tonight.
That's right. This is the Troy Lint Invitational on the left side. All the other left-handers didn't make it all the way through. I think he's got Jeff Johnson working with him right now.
Yeah.
Jeff won High JJ for the event.
Yeah. He bowled with John Janowitz, and it was tough going down there ball repping because you say JJ, both of them turn around.
Well, I managed to win over Craig, and which JJ was to have the higher score when they bowled together in front of us. It was Jeff on that one. But, and also Jack Jurek, another JJ who made the top 24. John Janowitz surprisingly did not.
Yeah, that is amazing. And John, what an incredible bowler that guy is since he came out. Won the Masters. He sees the lane totally different. But unfortunately, Tommy Hess is starting to see the right lane kind of like Chris Barnes is seeing it.
Well, he came up with a 0. Looking at his hand, he had split fingers just a couple of days ago, right before competition started. And he had some tape. He got used to it pretty quickly. But he was looking over to the right. I'm guessing he might have been asking Kelly for any kind of advice.
But if he gets lost on that right lane like Chris did, it's going to be all she wrote for him. I mean, I don't know what the right lane's doing, but it's for lack of a better word, it looks trashed. It's over under something fierce. It looks like the left lane looks good.
Well, Tom here comes right back.
He's moved way in because he's like 17, 18 at the arrows, out to 8 with that gym.
How do you? Well, we'll go a little deeper into this game before we look too far ahead. But because this is certainly still up for grabs. Tom with back-to-back splits. Pete Weber keeps popping in here, looking for a place he should go throw some skee ball or something.
Yeah,
there's skee ball in this house. There's pinball.
Or start up that massage chair so that he can just relax.
I made sure I sat in that for a few minutes. I can promise you that. In the meantime, Troy Lint, that's the Lint roller right there. The ball, he just flicks the head pin and things just fall out of the sky, it seems like.
The way his ball goes through the pins and mixes them up, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with out here for quite a period. He just makes it look easy. He posts every shot. He's a big, strong guy. I mean, you look at him, he's thick as all. Yeah, he's thick.
And doing all this basically on 1.5 legs.
Yeah, that right leg of his is like gone.
And there it is.
We just talked about posting shots, and he is dead lasered until that ball goes through the pins.
That's the Lint strike right there. He bought a new knee brace before he got here, or when he got here actually, and it's a monster. You can actually see it through his slacks on his right leg.
You seen the one that Brian Leclerc wears? I mean, he has to wear it on the outside of his pants. Yeah. That whole big knee brace.
So I don't know what Troy's medical plans are in the off season. That's his business. But I have to assume that getting that thing fixed is going to be priority, whatever it takes. Pretty shot there.
That was
Tom.
a great shot for Tommy Hess.
On the lane that's given him fits, he comes in with a beautiful shot.
Speaking of parts, I get a new shoulder here in September.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wait, how?
The replacement. They're going to replace my right shoulder.
I didn't know you had. I know you've had knee issues.
Yeah.
Shoulder too. Wow.
Yeah.
How long is recovery for that?
4 months, they say. Doc said I'd be back bowling in 4 months.
All right.
Well, we'll see. He said if I don't replace it soon, there's not enough bone left to actually even work with. That's why everybody says, why don't you follow through? Because I can't. And you watch these guys follow through him. You watch Tommy Hess. You watch Troy Lint. You watch any of the guys coming up. Bill Rowe and Pete Weber's got a beautiful follow through.
Perfect follow through.
That's a big part of the game. And when you can't make that motion, you start muscling and forcing things. And muscle at the wrong time in this game is all bad.
Speaking of posters and shot posters, Amelio Monticelli is here. He might be the ultimate shot poster in this game. Goodness, Troy Lint.
Destroyed pins.
Yeah. And Tom Hess has found his shot, but did he give away too much in the first couple frames?
Troy is getting into his comfort zone. He's now migrated into 15. He threw that big ball long enough to the outside, burned up that oil. He's got himself a bump spot down lane. He's moved in. He's throwing off of it. This could be a number 3 title unless somebody trips him up.
Well, he might be his own worst enemy if it even comes to that. He might be the only guy who can trip himself up. It's going to be really hard, even for Pete.
Wow. You got Parker Bone down there on the left side watching, just hand under the chin going, Parker made the top 24, but just had a tough run at it. He got up there for a while, but just couldn't keep the flow going.
He was in 5th place at one point today, but you're right. I think Chris Barnes got hot and passed him. A couple of other, Dan Knowlton got hot, and darn near made it. And,
Jeff Johnson, our Brunswick rep, he was up there in 5th for a while. But, there's so many games to play. These guys got to be tired. They've already bowled 12 games today. And plus the practice.
All right, so Tom Hess has now found it on the right lane. What has he done that he wasn't able to do earlier? Or Chris Barnes wasn't able to do either?
One, he got a bigger ball than Chris. He's moved a little bit farther left, and I think he's found where that lane might have opened up down lane. It looked like Chris was just trying to pipe it and be just a little bit too direct with it.
Okay.
And when the ball read the spot on the back end, it just checked up in 3-6-10. Yeah, there's like 16, 17 out to. That was a little farther out. That was like 6-7.
Oh, a wiggle, but not enough.
He was hoping. He can't give any more openings to Troy Lint because Troy's on a 279 pace.
Yeah, this match turned against Tom with the back-to-back open frames, and although he's recovered beautifully, the problem is Troy Lint is still punching.
Yeah, and the best Tommy Hess can do is 224. Ooh, and he almost sent that to the ditch a little bit too quick.
Yeah, Tom needs help. And Troy Lint is not playing Santa Claus right now.
No.
More Grinch than Santa Claus.
He's taking all his toys.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. We'll get Troy a shirt with the Grinch holding a lint roller.
That's good. That's good. I like
That's what
that.
I'm here for. Problem is Troy's such a nice guy.
Oh, my Lord. Look at that. That was like 15-8 and just 9.5 back. The 8-pin was thinking about it.
Yeah, the 8-pin just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, it's confused.
If it had a brain, it would. It really didn't know what to do.
It was probably 14, but that was like 8 down lane. And that ball was still going to the right. And he's like, I guess I'm going.
Well, he almost stoned that because you saw the ball just clipped it on the replay there. But Troy gets so much reaction.
Need to talk to Jeff and find out how much surface they put on that ball. I mean, he is walking away with this, and there's no questions asking. This show is all over.
Well, Tom's best is 234, right? No, I'm sorry.
224.
224. And that's not happening. So
Yeah.
Tom's going to have to wait to get that next championship. And
6 shows in a row.
We'll see him in the Villages.
With 1 win. It's unbelievable. And there is nobody any more upset than that gentleman there to make all these shows and only have 1 win. And he's just digging for that Hall of Fame status.
He'll get there. He's too good not to do it. He's running, really, Troy Lint has been a problem.
Well, yeah, you take Troy Lint out of the equation, there's more titles.
But for Tom, another sterling tournament.
So, with Bill Rowe coming up, he hit Hess's switch balls to a bigger ball, kind of opened up the lane, which can actually probably help out Bill Rowe coming in to this next match.
Well, that's the question I was sitting on because I didn't want to ask you too early to see how Tom bowled and how what he did with the lane. So, out of what we've seen so far, we'll leave Pete away for now because more is going to happen. What do you think? How do you believe this may help Bill? How?
Bill, if he has the chance to actually play, and all week, he kind of played the lanes where everybody was at. He was somewhere else. And he just has this unique ability to see the lane a little bit different. And he's such a great player, and he can actually split hairs down there. If they open him up a little bit to the right, he likes to see the ball kind of hook up and stop a little bit, because once it stops and if it sets in the right spot, it's always going to the pocket. And if he can find that hook stop spot, he's going to be brutally tough.
He's going to have to be brutally tough because look at what Troy Lint has done with his own private bowling center here on the left side. Tom thanking the fans who were here. And it's a select group of people, by the way. You really kind of have to know somebody to get in here for this event. We did have some nice crowds, though, at Bowl America in Drainsville. That was
it's too bad all the people that were there couldn't come, but there's just not a big enough facility to get everybody in here anyway.
No, this literally is someone's home.
You're right.
People live here.
And there's not enough place to park. I mean, actually, they got that huge cart. It's like oversized golf cart going down, picking up people at the end of the driveway and bringing them up.
So 279 to 204. Troy Lint with a dominating performance. And we'll have just a couple minutes of practice, so that'll give us a chance to step aside for just a minute or two. And I'm going to see if, I don't know if Craig's going to get a chance to talk to Tom or to anybody here. So we'll just we'll shut our mics off for a couple minutes, and we'll get right back to you here at the 2023 Budmore PBA 50 Players Championship Stepladder Final. All right, so we're getting close to starting this match. Pete Weber is just getting his licks in here. He's in the next match. He's the #1 seed. Looking for his, and he was just talking to us before, he doesn't think he's been on BowlTV in a stepladder final since this event last year, and I believe he's right.
I'm pretty sure he's right.
His last win, 2021, on the PBA50 tour.
Well, Pete did have that run where he had 5 wins in a row, was bowling for the 6th one, and then ended up, I think that was in Brentwood, California, and ended up, Noel Vasquez, I think, ended up winning that tournament. But he had, it was going for 6 wins in a row.
Yeah, that was the PBA50 Northern California Classic in 2016, I believe, right? Does that look right to you?
Yeah, there it is, yeah.
Well, Pete's sitting all-time on the list of PBA50 titles at 13. He would tie John Handegard should he win tonight, but he's got to wait a little bit longer. And he doesn't have any chance to loosen up. He's been kind of walking around. He's come in here and chatted with us a little bit and looking for a place to light, but his time is coming. But you can take a good look now at Bill Rowe. If you've been watching the tournament, we've tried to feature him as often as possible, and there you go. That's Bill Rowe's week summed up there in one shot.
Yeah, he's going to play the lanes farther right than any of the previous right-handers. And when I went out there and talked to Jeff, there is a possibility that he might even go to throwing him maybe a purple hammer so he can stay right. Now, I don't know if that's the right move, but Bill sees the lane different than the rest of the players.
Well, it is a different exchange rate between the U.S. and Canada. Maybe that includes, oils and bowling patterns.
Well, Bill's an 8-time Team Canada member, so it's not like he doesn't know how. He's bowled all over the country, so it's not like he doesn't know how to bowl. But, every player, if they can play to their strong suit where they like to play, then they're tough to beat. And he likes to be a little bit straighter. Pete likes to get a little bit left and loop it. Obviously, Troy likes to get a little bit right and send it. And he's broke the lane down in such a way that it's working out for him. So, it's going to be a crapshoot from here on out.
Well, Troy Lint, magnificent 279 in defeating Tom Hess. Tom Hess defeated Chris Barnes in the first match. We are in the penultimate match for this PBA50 Players Championship. Back on the schedule after a few years. And hopefully back to stay. I would imagine Troy got the nerves out now.
If they're not out, they're not going to get out.
No.
Well, there might be a new set of nerves if he has to bowl Pete for the title.
That's understandable.
You're bowling a Hall of Famer, and like you said, if he wins this, he ties hand to guard with 14 titles, and the only person to beat that is Walter Ray Williams with 16 titles.
That's on the 50 tour. Walter picked up a 60 title at your place, actually, Wayne Webb's, where your pro shop is.
Right.
For all your needs, folks, in Columbus, Tom Carter's your guy.
Hey, stop on by.
I got my shirt. Been wearing that around.
Actually picked up a check this week in the tournament. I'm tickled to death.
So did Petraglia got paid, right? Johnny
Johnny got a check, too.
Yep, Johnny got a check.
76 years old, and Johnny Petraglia gets a check.
Super senior check, and he bowled rather well.
See, that's nice out here on the PBA50 tour. You have obviously the people that cash, and then out of the cash they pay 8 super seniors, which are 60 and older. So if they aren't in the regular cash, because right now we're about 55% super seniors, so those 8 checks, they keep them coming out. This $1,000 a pop, so helps pay for the entry fee.
Yep. All right. Bill Rowe wants the ball first. He'll open up on the left lane.
Well, that was about as direct as you can get, I think.
I thought he'd been throwing wider in warm-ups, but he went right at it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. He chose to start, and he's going to end on the trick lane. That's a pretty gutsy move.
Well, Troy Lint did that, but Troy's got his own thing going, so it's a little bit different. You can't. Right now, Troy Lint is breaking down the lanes for Troy Lint and no one else.
And he's done a phenomenal job at it. Since this guy's come out on the senior tour, it has brought a whole meaning to PBA50 bowling. Because, one, he doesn't look like he's in his 50s. He definitely doesn't throw it like he's in his 50s.
No.
There's no 50-year-old out here that's got a backswing like that. He throws at 24 mile an hour at spares.
I saw that today. Yeah, he was firing at a 7-pin because he has had some issues with single pins. He's open about that, and I guess he decided to just get there as fast as he can.
Oh, he does.
Except he doesn't have to shoot at those right now.
No, and if you can hear that bang. I mean, it's like he's shrapnel down at the other end. Just unbelievable.
He came out last year near the end, so people have asked, well, why isn't he in a consideration of Rookie of the Year? He's not a rookie on the PBA50 tour. He had injuries plagued him a bit last year, but when he got going, the guys on the tour had already heard about him, and they knew what they were in for.
Yeah, and well, we didn't know, we know now. And there you go, Bill Rowe playing the lane totally different than anybody else on that right lane. It's amazing. he wanted me to give a shout out to his coach, Craig Woodhouse. And whatever Craig taught him is obviously working, because Bill sees the lane totally different than anybody, and he's enjoyable to talk to. When as a rep and talking to him the last 2 days, he'd come up and ask me questions. He goes, I'm going to try to stay here, and I want to see that ball hook, and I'm going to move farther right than anybody else. And he did.
Well, nobody's missing.
Just unbelievable. In 1997, the UAE tournament, he won. I think he beat Chris Barnes in that tournament for $50,000.
Also in Atlanta at the Olympics, when it was not a true medal sport, I guess he won that event.
Well, in the Pan Am Games, he got a gold medal of that in '95. So the guy can play. I think he's actually surprised that didn't fall down.
Who isn't surprised it didn't fall down the way he's thrown it?
Chris Barnes just walked in. He goes, I'm surprised it didn't fall down. Well, this is where you get to see 24 mile an hour. The ball is going to go sideways.
Look out. Okay, he got it. Thought that might turn, but no, it just got there too fast. Yeah.
When was it going to turn?
Yeah, good point. They didn't have time.
Yeah, a ball has to slow down in order to curve.
Yes. See, I was a terrible science student. Geometry is my worst subject.
I mean, it's kind of like baseball. The curveballs are slower than fastballs, right?
They better be. If they aren't one day, that'll be the end of hitters.
So you got Troy Lint throwing the Archetype, which is a big ball. You got Bill Rowe throwing the Atlas, which is a big ball. So they're obviously, the oil that's on the lane is a lot slicker. Even though it's less volume, it's a much slicker oil, and they have to play a little straighter.
It's hard to imagine that our first game neither bowler bowled over 200, because we're going to see that obliterated right here, it looks like.
Well, he just shot 279, and yeah, it looks like he might shoot another one.
And Bill Rowe? Who knows?
I think Bill's got a point to prove. And like he said in his interview earlier, he wanted this tournament for the last couple of years, and he couldn't get here because he was hurt. And he has made it a point, and he said, to make the show. And as he said, step one, I've made the show. Step two, win the show.
Well, he missed the World Series and was not a happy man about that. I chatted with him before the show began. He was hurt.
Right. I was in the parking lot. I was actually walking my dog's tail, and he's walking out with his equipment. And I go, what are you doing? He goes, I withdrew. And I go, why? He goes, I'm hurt. I went, oh, my God.
Yeah, groin muscle problem. And he said he watched on his couch from home and didn't, he said it was nice to listen to you guys, but really, really, really wanted to be out there. And he says he doesn't feel completely healthy. And I
does that look like he's not healthy?
Chuckle at
He's
that.
got the front five.
I had to laugh at that.
I want to be non-healthy and throw the front five.
Well, that's just it. I want to, if we said there was going to be a run on Dick's Sporting Goods knee braces after watching Troy Lint bowl, they better stock up. Amazon better order some too, extra.
I don't think he liked that one, but the pins didn't know the difference.
No, he had that little dismissive wave of the hand there as he was walking away.
Up, it was just like it was off of his hand a little quick, but it was in the right direction. So he's still on a 279 pace. The problem is Bill Rowe's on 300 pace. So from the first game scores to now, things have changed drastically. So I guess from our point of view back here on the monitor, what are we missing that Chris Barnes didn't see?
I don't know. That's a great question. Because right now we've gone from one of the finest bowlers ever who couldn't crack 150,
right,
to this right here.
This
makes our job easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what are we going to say? I mean, from our first match and what we watched to this, it's like we're not even in the same place.
No, you're right. It's like we jumped into a time machine, and either, I don't know if we went forward or backward, but we're not in the same place, even though we're in the same building. And there's the first miss for Bill.
I mean, as tough as the lanes were that first match, and Chris Barnes throwing the game that he had, I mean, totally kind of lost. Tommy Hess figured out something for $1.90. Then he has a 2-0 game, but gets run over by Troy Lint at 279. Now both of these guys are now both on a 279 pace.
You almost feel like if you told Tom, hey, look, you're going to beat Barnes, you're not going to, you're going to get 190. If you're going to give you a 2-0 after the conditions you just saw, he might have taken that. I think I'm going to win.
Right.
But Troy Lint, and of course Troy Lint being the solo lefty, that's certainly an edge. But still, Tom just had a 2-frame stretch that killed him.
Oh.
Back-to-back opens, he started to strike again, but by that time
it was all over.
Yeah, the train was gone.
Left the station.
Yeah.
So Bill is crossing like 12 out to 8. Really firm with the speed. I mean, he's keeping everything pretty much in front of him. Now you've seen Tommy Hess in the previous match. He was crossing 17, 18 out to 8. In the next match, I got to believe you're going to see Pete being at 17 and 18 out to 8 with kind of a slow wheel.
Yeah, I'm dying to see how all of this is going to affect his game and his nerves. He's been pacing around here like an expectant father.
I think he's got a little bit of the jits. It's been a couple years.
He hasn't won since 21. He hasn't been on a show since last year here. And even though he's who he is, and he was really into it the last couple of days in match play emotionally. Fist pumping, moonwalking, double fist pumps, engaging the crowd in a good way. Just really extra intense as he started to move in toward the opportunity to win another title.
Yeah, what he had 2 300s in the tournament. There's just once the 300 started in this tournament, they just kept coming. But Pete had 2 of them, and both of them at the end of a block.
That was hilarious because we had a great crowd yesterday, and of course they're all watching Pete, and he gets the 300, sends him home happy. Does the same thing today.
Look at that! He missed that totally. He didn't even think it was going to hook. This is the voodoo roll of Troy Lint. It's farther to the left down lane. He hit like 4 or 5. He knew it was light, and here comes the slow motion messenger. That's a senior messenger, by the way. They don't move very fast.
Well, they get there eventually. They just take their sweet time. But that's the Lint power. That's what he's been able to do all summer, is get strikes that other guys can't get.
And you got to know when you're bowling Troy Lint on the show now, since he's made so many and he's bowling as well as he is, that there's no gimmies. I mean, you better perform every shot because he is literally going to mop the floor with you.
The problem is the other guy has a mop also, and Rowe isn't budging on his, and it's working for him right now. He's not giving in a penny.
It's really nice to see Bill back out here. He was actually an exempt player on the PBA Tour in 04 and 05. Most people might not know that, but he's been out here for a while. Boy, did he just get dead quiet in here all of a sudden?
It really did. And
wait a minute.
He got it.
Yeah, look at that. If you can do it, Troy, so can I. Watch this. See, our messengers aren't quite like the kids on the kids tour, but at least we get them. We got slow mail over here.
You don't get those Belmontes that go shooting across at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're not like headpin high flying across the deck, but the effect's the same.
I have to actually sit here and do math.
What? It's pretty hard. 279.
Got it.
Then we got to have a roll off.
We may be headed there because, and that roll-off may last a while if they keep striking like this. This could go into penalty kicks.
You don't have a plane to catch, do you? Because we
Tomorrow,
could be here for a
thankfully.
while.
Tomorrow I do, but not now. No late flight for me.
Yeah, I'm supposed to pack up the motorhome and head to Florida tomorrow, but we could still be here at this rate.
Well, in the media room, there's a couple of couches, so I think you'd be in very good shape there.
Yeah. His house is unbelievable, 20,000 square feet. Oh, that's farther left.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're right. It doesn't matter. I don't even know why I said it. They all go to the pocket. All roads lead to the 1-2.
Somebody said carry, probably Troy, and had no trouble at all.
Okay, Troy in the 10th, definitely shooting, next to is 279, puts the pressure on Bill Rowe, and I'm still amazed that he picked what I think is the trick lane to finish on.
Yep. That is the one lane he didn't strike on. The one time it was on that lane. Not that it was a bad shot, because it wasn't. Same thing. Oh, no.
Uh-oh. We got an opening. We have an opening. 268 now?
Whoa. Nobody saw that coming.
I like the old school keeping score. They're having to add it up. Going, did I get it right? 30, 30, and 30, and 30, and 30.
Having to think. There it is, 268 for Troy Lint. And that might not be enough.
Well, there was a match today, 279, 278.
Yep. A double will do it for Bill.
All you got to do. Craig, if you're watching, Bill's coach, what would you tell him right now?
Probably nothing. No.
Oh, no.
No. The right lane bites one more time.
I'm still at a loss. 38-58. Lose by 10.
Yep.
I guess I'm at a loss at the right lane. I mean, we've seen so much trouble on that lane. Why do you want to finish on that thing? But again, Bill Rowe sees things different than we do, and
I hope we see him in Florida. I hope he makes the trip south, and we may well see him on BowlTV again.
Well, there's no doubt that if he stays out here, he's going to win a title. He throws it way too good.
So Bill Rowe into the 250s will come up short to Troy Lint. And it's now Lint and Weber. Troy Lint going for a third title this year, a second major, and he would have a hammerlock on Player of the Year.
Oh, soft.
And Pete trying to break a 2-year losing drought in the winner's circle on PBA50, making his first show in a year. Approximately a year. I think this was in May last year?
Right.
Okay, so even longer. And how will the great one play these tricky lanes?
And if he gets, 10 shots, 8 shots?
It's 8.
8 shots?
Yeah, and he's relied on Kelly quite a bit this week. So give us a minute or two to catch our breaths, and we'll be back with the championship for the 2023 Bud Moore PBA50 Players Championship. PDW versus Troy Lint right here on BowlTV. All righty, you see Kelly Kulik advising Pete Weber. Pete's looked pretty good in the practice so far.
Well, Pete's doing what Pete does. I mean, he's the king of axis rotation and that slow hook. And if he can find a bump spot down lane, he's going to beat it to death.
And if he does and wins, he'll have a 14th PBA50 title, tie John Handegard, and move within 2 of Walter Ray Williams Jr. Oh,
you might, if he wins this after not having a win for a while, we might see the PD of old. Who do you think you are?
I don't know. You just by his manner during the qualifying and the match play, once he realized he had something good going, it started to really sink in, I think, and his emotions bubbled to the surface.
All we need is one of those spectators to do something that fires him up, and he might not miss for days.
Well, he might manufacture something. He might think somebody moved, and just to get that heart rate up a little even higher. Well, I suspect it's high now. Even with his experience, even with the 100 titles or so of all kinds that he's won in this distinguished career, when you haven't won for a little while, I think it'll mean more. Oh, look, a 3.610 on the right lane.
Yeah, and he moved right on that lane to throw that shot, just as a practice shot, and it was 3.610. So obviously he only has 2 choices. He's got to get farther left like Tommy Hess did in the end, but I don't know if he can pipe it as straight as Bill Rowe in the last match. I'm going to go with going left and going around it.
That seems to be the Weber way, but he's also got to deal with somebody who's just been a killer this summer in Troy Lint, and he's rolling it unbelievably well right now.
Yeah, Lint roller, steam roller, I don't know, anything you want to call him. He's just taking care of everybody that's in his way.
Getting a little spare practice in. He already has the strike ball down. What, 279, 269?
Yes.
Crazy. So Pete gets the choice here. Now this ought to be interesting. If you're Pete, you just saw how tough this right lane has been for right-handers. Would you finish on that lane, or would you start on that lane?
Well, if it's me, I'm going to have Troy start, and I'm going to start on the right lane. I want to finish on the left lane.
That's the shot we've seen Pete have so much success with since Monday.
But right now, he's a little amped. I think he's got to calm down a little bit. I mean, he's going through it pretty quick.
Well, you have to remember the unique situation we're in. For those of you who are watching us, there's no warm-up lanes anywhere. There's no place for Pete to go. He's been pacing the area. He's come in here a few times to our broadcast location. And we're not in the same room as everybody here. That would just be a little bit too much, I think. So he's had to try to find something to do, and then he gets a chance to throw a few practice shots. Then he has to go sit down again. There's no place to burn off the excess energy. There's a sauna back here, but
that's in the other room.
Yeah. So, all right. Sal Weber to do the ring introductions. And here we go. Pete and Troy.
He's going to have Troy start. I'd want to stay off that right lane as much as I could.
Well, Troy Lint going for a 3rd title this summer.
And if he wins this, he locks up Player of the Year with no questions.
2 majors since he won the Senior U.S. Open in Greeley, Colorado in June. And Pete looking to break a drought. Here we go.
Well, I can't imagine Troy changing anything he's been doing. Same ball, same thing. Same place. Ooh.
Through the face that time.
That looked a little slower.
Is this the first time he has shot at anything other than a single pin?
I believe so.
For a spare, yeah.
Oh, we have Kelly Kulik in the waiting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Craig. You're with Kelly Kulik, please.
Here with Kelly Kulik. Kelly, I talked to Pete during that last match. He had a couple options going left or going right. What did you guys come up with here?
Well, we decided that the more left the guys moved previously in previous matches, the more it hooked. So we wanted to play a little bit more safer, move back towards the right, kind of back his hand out of it and be firm up the lane. It looked really good for Bill, and Troy's got a great look. So I think going left was the wrong move. Going back closer to the track area is going to be the right move to keep it in play and give us a chance.
You see with the play on the left that Troy, has he still got 260s out there?
You can't, underwrite the leading player of the year right now. He's throwing the ball great. He's got great ball reaction. He has a little bit more room. So I think it's going to be a great title match. It should be. You got one of the veterans, Hall of Famers, against, player of the year on PBA Tour 50. So hopefully it comes down to the 10th frame.
All right. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you very much, Kelly and Craig. Really appreciate that. Always great to hear from Kelly. And there it is.
Yep.
That's the shape. And did he do everything that she just said?
I agree with that because he is farther right than he was warming up with. And that last shot he made in practice, he moved a little bit right. Looks like he's sliding on 25. I can't actually see at our angle where we're at what he's crossing, but he's playing it tighter. He might be a little bit deeper on the left lane, but it's not uncommon for players to play a pair of lanes totally different or use two different balls.
Sometimes it's just as much fun to watch Pete and not watch the shot.
Uh-oh.
He commanded it to hook, and it didn't quite listen.
No, back in the day, between Pete Weber and Marshall Holman, it was just, you wanted to watch the show just to see what was going to happen. You didn't care how they bowled. You just wanted to see what they were going to do.
Yeah, when we had multiple matches going on, and Pete may not have been in our immediate viewing area, or maybe we didn't have our main camera on him, I would just sometimes look at him to get an idea if the shot was any good or not. And if he was moonwalking or double fist pumping or whatever, then he was pleased.
So there has to be a little bit of nerves going on with Troy Lint. I'm pretty sure this is the first time he's actually bowled against Pete for anything.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the first time.
They maybe ran into each other in a regional or something, but not to my knowledge. So I'm pretty sure this is the first time he's ran into a USBC PBA Hall of Famer of that stature. So there could be a little nerves running around in him. Troy Lint's timing is just so unique and so pure with that high backswing, and he doesn't really pull it down. It just kind of floats down and he goes through it. You see, a lot of times you see young people have that high backswing and they just jerk it down trying to throw it 100. He just goes through it, just simple. Uh-oh.
Well, that is the first split that Troy has had to face, and it's the left lane where he is now not struck twice, and this is his first serious problem of his now third game.
Yeah, that's the first kink in the armor that we have seen out of Troy Lint.
Yep. Oh, almost blew it off the back wall.
Bill Moore is probably still looking for that ball in the back. That went down there quick.
That may be outside when we leave tonight. We may
Holy
find out in the grass.
Lord, did he throw that hard.
But it almost worked. All right, a little bit of a door here for Pete to walk through if he's able.
That opening might have fired him up a little bit.
No, a double would go a long way to making Troy even a little bit more nervous, if he is at all. Nope.
Oh, a little hip check there. He was talking to it. Then he got a break, and he was hoping that 4 was going to roll into the 9, but it didn't.
No, didn't quite have enough on it, but I think Pete's got to manage his emotions a touch too.
Yeah, he wants this obviously as bad as Troy does because he hasn't won for a while. And the last time he was on the show was here a little over a year ago.
He kind of steps away, takes a deep breath.
Yeah, he's out of camera. Somebody dropped something. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I don't know what, and it didn't seem to affect Pete at all. So. There you go.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no, that's what I've seen all week.
Yeah.
That has been. That's what I meant, and that's a perfect example of. I think he smells that opportunity, and he is doing everything he can to seize it.
Yeah, if that starts coming out in Pete, this could be ball game over. Because when you start seeing that out of Pete, his focus just gets lasered.
Yep. Saw a lot of that in the last couple of days in match play. He doesn't have a lot of room to moonwalk here, though.
Not unless he runs into somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
Oh, Troy.
Troy is now. He missed right on the left lane. Now he's missed left on the right lane.
Well, this is a little surprising.
This is little. This is a lot surprising.
So what's happened?
I'm going to go with nerves. I mean,
okay.
I really am. I can't think that anything else has changed. I just think that, he's trying to place balls instead of actually throw them like he did in the previous games, and the nerves are making him do that because he knows he has to make good shots. So he's just grabbing. Did he pick up a different ball? I mean, I
can't tell. We'll find out here very shortly.
Almost looked like a red ball he picked up. He was throwing that archetype.
Yeah,
and it is a different ball.
Yep. Pretty smart move.
Oh, big move. Holy cow. Maybe what he's finally done is burnt that shot up that he's been playing enough that it requires a ball change, something a little cleaner down the lane.
And Pete clean through 4.
Well, a double here out of Pete would be, we might see him scream if he throws a double.
He knew it, too.
Oh, look at it. Slow motion, 7-pin, and he's back at him.
He liked that one. You could, again, the reaction is what you want to watch. Not the ball reaction, the Weber reaction.
Boy, what a beautiful style. He knew that was there. He's pulling the cord, and then that slow motion 7, he's like, I can't even believe you thought you were going to stand.
Don't you know who I am?
Don't you know who I am?
Every year on the anniversary of his famous U.S. Open moment, that gets played on all of the national sports. Twitter goes crazy playing it. It is just a quick reminder. You'll take a re-rack.
Slow the process down here. That's one thing Norm Duke had said one time. If he gets a break, he tries never to show any emotion on the first shot because he's got to make the shot on the left lane. Now, if he strikes on the left lane, he'll show emotion there because now he gets to sit down and take a break and recoup. He just doesn't need to get himself overexcited.
Going for 3 in a row here. Moonwalk. It's a strike. The moonwalk is all you needed to know.
That's it. He is fired up now. Does this not look like Pete Weber of old?
Well, this is how he bowled the whole time, the last couple of days, especially in match play. This is exactly everything. The shot, the look, the emotion, all of it. He had a good lead as the #1 seed over Bill Rowe.
Yeah, he was ahead by 200, then shoots 300 in the position round.
Yeah, just because he can. Well, the ball
much
change.
better. Yeah. The ball change should have happened maybe a little bit sooner.
But the message he's sending across to Pete is don't celebrate yet.
Yeah, I'm not done. I'm not mathematically out of this.
Oh, not even close. And if Weber should slip, Lint could go around him.
I think Pete's throwing that new Storm ball or Rotogrip ball. It's called a clone. I'm not quite sure. Kelly would get some information out of Kelly, but he's obviously making it look really good.
It did.
What?
It did, Troy.
Off his hand, obviously he didn't like it. He's trying to talk it to the pins, but it did what he wanted it to do.
What about there? He starts yelling for it to hook.
And it did.
Man. All right, here is this tricky right lane.
Pete's got 2 more shots on this.
Yeah, that's all. This is where he got his last strike, but that's where the 7-pin kind of gave him some delayed gratification.
This shot is really huge because in the 9th frame, which we call the foundation frame, if he figures out what he wants to do here, he's got some confidence going into the 9th on this lane. But if it tricks him up, then when you get to the 9th, what kind of move do you make?
Yeah, it makes that next shot even tougher, too, on the left lane. Oh, it's got to go.
Got to go. Oh! That was a miss. A swing and a miss and a hit.
He just beat Troy Lint at his own game. Just tickle the head pin, and it's going to take care of business.
It looked like he missed that right unbelievably. It's going. He gets it out to like 6. That's not even half pocket. That's like third pocket.
4 in a row. 5 out of 7 for PDW. And he throws it right back at Troy Lint, who has recovered nicely after a ball change.
PD going at a 269 pace.
And he's out of re-racks.
Troy Lint at 248. I'd be curious, is he taking the re-rack to slow things down, or does he see something? He's shaking his head like he doesn't like the look of the pins, but he's already used his re-racks.
Yeah, he's going to have to make something up as he goes along. Not moonwalking. Oh,
my Lord.
Slap 5 with somebody over there.
He swung. He might have hit somebody over there.
He's pretty close.
He's out of frame. It could have happened.
I don't know who's over there that almost got it, but I think he took a slap 5 with somebody. Holy smokes, look at Weber. And Troy Lint.
Troy Lint's got to answer the call. He's got to throw a double.
Because Pete's getting some breaks.
Well, that's how you win. Not everybody throws perfect shots, and you get a little bit of room going down there and a break going your way. When it's your day, it's your day.
Oof, man.
Oh, my God. Does that kid throw it good or what?
Not intimidated one bit.
Oh. There's no doubt. He is not scared. Confidence is a huge part of this game, and right now he's got a ton of it. Oh, solid 8. Are you kidding me?
He threw that ball exactly like the previous one on that lane.
Yeah, he stood up like that's there. And then the messenger misses the 8. Whew. 77, 97, 227 is the best he can do. Pete throws this one, the game's over.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Well, Pete looking for a 6th straight on a tough right lane that he has struck the last couple of visits. Trying to get back to being a winner, a champion again.
You hear him talking to himself?
Yeah.
A little bit of self-talk going on there.
Trying to calm himself down, I think, just a little bit. He'll go nuts if he throws a good shot.
He's been there before. Oh, no, he didn't like that at all. And if
Well,
this falls,
okay, that's all right. You're right, that wasn't a pretty shot at all.
No.
He's fortunate.
I think there was even the great Pete Weber, I think, had a little doubt in himself, coming into that on that shot.
Well, listen, he's been there before, but not lately.
Look at the separation,
there's a separation
on this pin.
That's choppable.
That is way choppable. Oh my goodness, that was huge.
And you can't re-rack that, kids.
69.
So a 20-pin lead.
He just needs to mark. Best Troy can do is 227. 9 out is 225. Pete needs a mark. One time. No.
Well, he's thrown 2 pretty much right down the middle. He's just lost his shot.
Yeah, I think he just got so amped up. He's rushing the line.
Well, he has to make this.
Yeah. If he doesn't make this, Troy can double a 9 and win.
Yep. But if he makes it, show up on the next shot, and he's got it.
The high hard one down the middle. Pete's a great spare shooter. I hope I didn't. And that's it. Pete spared that 10-pin. And he knows it. All he's got to do is keep it on the lane, stay behind the foul line. He's in the winner's circle again since 2021.
Title number 14 for Pete. Joining John Handegard, 2 back of Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Spare ball down the middle.
Champion again.
Yeah. Pete Weber, winner of the Bud Moore Players Championship. Oh my goodness.
He can breathe now, because I'm not sure he was taking any breaths there at the end.
Yeah.
And for Troy Lint, he's probably going to walk out here going, one more frame earlier with that ball change, and it might have made a difference. I'm going to jump off here and see if I can't talk to Pete out there. So, Tom, if you can hang on here and take over.
I will be here until you get out there to get an interview with Pete. What a great tournament for Troy Lint. Just, unfortunately, didn't make that ball change soon enough. Pete Weber, winner of the 2023 Bud Moore PBA50 Players Championship. Yeah. What an incredible match that was. I mean, it might be Troy's dream at some point to want to bowl against Pete Weber for a title. You know, all of us as players always want to bowl our idols for a title, and maybe this was Troy's time, but I think next time they meet, Troy might come out on top. What a complete, utter, euphoria for Troy and for Pete Weber to win again. We'll take it out to Dave Lamont on the lanes for an interview with Troy, Pete Weber, and Troy Lint.
Go ahead. You want to talk? Yeah, go ahead, you guys. Go ahead, please.
Pete Weber giving his brother a hug. John Weber, who is our director out here on the PBA50 tour, and also for the PBA tour in general, and in charge of all the regional directors. He wears many hats.
Welcome back. We missed you. You're a champ again, Pete. Been a couple years, your 14th PBA 50 victory, and I know it means a lot to the people in here. I can't even imagine what it means to you.
You know, I've heard rumors in the last couple of years that the guy said I would never win out here again. You know what I say to them? Sorry I can't say it right now, but to all the doubters, I'm here. I'm back. Don't you ever forget, I am Pete Weber, and I am who do you think you are? Sorry, I had to have my moment.
You know what? You won. You can do whatever you want. The significance of this you've made clear. What was working so well for you all week?
My ball rep, Kelly. We had a conversation early in the week, and I asked about a bowling ball that I was using, and she said, well, bring it in. It's okay. You know, it can't hurt. But to the title, I owe that man right there, Bill Rowe. Kelly told me that watch him bowl. He kept the ball in the play area and hard. And that's all I said to myself going up to the foul line. Throw the ball like a man. And I did, and it paid off. And I can't thank Kelly enough. I just can't thank Kelly enough.
Well, a significant victory for you, Pete. Kelly Kulik is who he's talking to. Those who's Kelly's just off camera right now, although you are being waved on here. Well, it's not like I've never talked to Kelly before either.
No, Pete bowled great all week. He bowled 2 300s during qualifying. He dominated in match play. He's a legend at heart, and he still has the oompa to bowl out here, for sure. So, I was making fun. I said, 4 more pumps. You got 4 more frames left and everything. So the man is multi-talented in so many ways. He takes criticism. He takes suggestions, and he's really easy to work with. So I've been in awe of him as I was watching him bowl as a kid, and to be able to help him and just give him some support, it's really an honor for me to watch a legend bowl and a Hall of Famer.
Well, Pete, just a practical question, if I could. How did you manage, because you didn't have a warm-up pair, this is such a unique situation, how did you manage your time while you were waiting for your opportunity to bowl?
Well, when I was in the back and the other guys were bowling, I would come get my bowling ball and take it back there and just swing it, so at least my thumb would try and be loose before I got out here. It might have took me a couple shots to get it going, but like I said, Kelly, hey.
There you go.
I'm not a big man, but...
that's pure steel right there. That's pure steel. Listen, man, welcome back. Congratulations. You deserve this, and you deserve to enjoy it.
Oh, man, trust me, I'm enjoying it so much right now. Just to all you doubters, take that.
And that is that. So, Tom Carter, back to you for a couple thoughts before I run back over there. Pete Weber, you're championing.